game.
I saw on Twitter, Neon, that you actually watched some of the videos of the LPL players and the stuff. So, what are your thoughts on the top Asian AD carries? Like, obviously, like the big names, like the Viper, Jackie Love, these players. Like, obviously, Ruler, Gala. What do you think of these guys?
Yeah, while I've never had the pressure to like scrim against them in like a team environment, I did bootcamp in Korea a long time ago, and I did play against them in a solo queue. And like my conclusion is that they're just way better than us, and they're like robots. And I mean, right now the meta in LPL is kind of boring because like when I watch the Zeri Serum matchup, it's mostly just farming, and then you play well team fights, right? So there's not much action in lane. But it's just like I've been to Korea. And ever since I knew why they're so good, and it's because of the culture. Like the gaming is just like widely accepted there, and everyone plays. Therefore, like you get so many better players, and like I don't see how we can match up to them if gaming is not mainstream in here, And
it's also a mindset
that's just
thing.
Insane.
It's also a mindset thing. Like when I listen to like, so for example, they do like behind the scenes content for like LPL teams, and it seems like they're just like it seems unhealthy to a point, but it's almost like their performance is tied in with like their value as a person, like internal. Like they actually believe that if I play bad, like I'm just like worse. Like I'm just like a worse person.
Yeah,
where it's like it's almost like in the West it is detached. It's like hey, like do your best. Like whatever happens. Like you're not trained to just have that mindset where it's like if your results are poor, you're just inferior. I mean, I was listening to WE Coach where they were like losing in the split. They obviously had like a horrible split. They went 0-16. And in the thing, he's like, hey, like the results mean that we are all trash and I am trash too. That's just what he's telling
he actually called himself trash. So it's true.
Yeah. He called himself trash. He's like, you guys are all trash. I am trash too. We all fucking suck. Like,
I love that though. I actually love that he put himself in. I know. If people don't know, like I'll contrast that because that is, by the way, what loads of the behind the scenes LPL stuff's like. It's like they are so harsh on each other. But here's the contrast. Do you remember when Clutch Gaming lost to like 100 Thieves in Game 5 in their first split? And like David Lim was just going like, he did a whole speech where he was sort of like, even though we lost, like I'm so proud of the way we all came together, and we're going to get him next split. And that's like, and then you watch the LPL one, it's like, we are all subhuman trash who will never be good. And like, it's mentally that.
Yeah, I mean, it's also so just their responses to pressure are way different. Like there was a time where EDG is 0-2 in a best of 5, right? This is when they reverse swept, and they're 0-2 in this best of 5, and Kenju is just going like ham. He's like, you guys are playing fucking scared. Like he's like yelling at them. You guys are playing fucking scared. Like I would rather see you guys win the game or lose the game standing up than win the game on your knees. That's what he said. He's like screaming at them, like actually to their faces. And I'm just thinking about what would happen if they tried that like in a Western team. Like the team is down 0-2 and you just have like the rogue coach go in there, be like, you guys are all playing like pussies. Like what the fuck is wrong with you guys? He just starts going off. Like I just feel like the next game, like it would never work. In that circumstance, it actually ended up working, but like I can't imagine what the response would be in a Western team if like that's the type of shit they said.
I think it's definitely like a culture thing because I can't imagine like your coach in an EU environment or an NA environment screaming at you. Like that guy would get instantly fired because he'd be like, oh, I felt bad after. He would say this to the management, then they're like kicking the coach instantly. But in like China, this is like probably normal, right? And while I do believe that this could be beneficial because like for some people, like feeling bad is actually the best motivator, I believe.
Like, yeah.
Like for me, like feeling bad is like the thing that motivates me to do the best, right? So like not having someone like tap on your shoulder and say it will be better next time. Like I would definitely like to see more of that, but I don't know if it'll ever. I don't know if we ever will. I don't know if there's ever going to be a team where like coaches will be like that, or whether it's ever going to be accepted in the EU. But like personally, I would like to see that happen to me and to a team and see what it does, right? Because I don't think it's going to work long term against Asian teams if you keep it like this.
I mean, I would say that there is nuance to it, right? Like Kenju is like one of the most well-respected coaches. He was the coach of EDG last year where they won Summer and Worlds, and then he actually changed to RNG and they won Spring and MSI. So like he kind of had an unofficial Grand Slam, winning 4 of the major tournaments in a row. And the thing is, there's dynamics to it, but I feel like coaching, like you have to be able to like tune into like what your players need. And in that moment, he chose the right thing. And I think that's why the guy has so respect. Like, I'm not saying you just need to scream at your fucking players every time, but I just feel like it's almost like when people choke it's like you're not supposed to ever address that there's any choking going on.
Yes.
Like even as a teammate, like this is how it was when I was a player.
Yeah,
if somebody's like having a really bad series, it's almost like, oh, ignore it. It's like, oh, you into the entire, I didn't even notice you into the whole game, bro. Like I was doing my own thing. Like you're almost supposed to ignore like problems as instead of addressing them in the middle of a best of 5, because you feel like, well, what happens if I say something critical and he plays even worse? Like what happens if I bring him down even lower? So I just feel like there's just some like, there's some disparity between how people actually like feel about the game in the East and in the West, just based off like context that we see even behind the scene from coaches.
I'll also shade in, I think another reason why they can do that though in China and Korea is the sheer number of people who are really good and trying to be pro. Because the point is, you can't actually tell a guy who's even a star. Like I've used this example before, but if people aren't aware, the guy that everyone in China said was the best top player in the world joined top esports. You won't have seen him this year because he got almost immediately benched Zoom, and they brought in a guy Wayward who was nobody, and the Wayward guy's better, so they don't need Zoom anymore. Zoom can just fuck off, and they can tell him. That's why you can say to a star player, like, hey, if you don't fucking get you together, you're out. Like, you can't do that if it's Caps. Like, we haven't got anyone coming in now. Like, whoever our sub is never going to fucking be better than Caps. So there is that as well. I will say though, Dom, when you say that though, I wouldn't do it to all teams, but specifically when Rogue is down 0-2 in the playoffs, I do wish I just heard that like Stone Cold Steve Austin like battle smash, like that's who the hell's that? That's Dom's music. And then you just come in the fucking room, you're like, listen, they get the fuck off that carry pick right now. It's nah duty only for you. You're in prison, right? Trimby, fucking, get it locked in. Cobb, we're going Caitlyn again. Like I'm just fucking go off. Larson, what are you gonna do? Pick Azir and lose like a pussy? Maybe do something this time, you ginger fucking twat. Anyway, just go off completely, basically. See if it actually brings it out of him. Obviously, you wouldn't say anything to Malrank because he's just a Chad. Just you're fine with Malrank. Just don't buy pink ones ever
actually
again.
Tone it down, Malrank. Like buy a couple less pink ones.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, can you just look? All I want to see from you is like when you start clicking towards an item, when you buy an item, just a component, you automatically have to build that component.
That would be a good rule. That would unironically be a really good rule. It would. I would implement that tomorrow. Not even joking. That would make him way better. The other thing is it's almost like he is too Korean in that sense because he's trying to get extra credit. He's like the only jungler in history that the coach is like, buy less wards, please buy less wards. Like it's the opposite normally. Like the joke is like Selfmade probably never bought a fucking ward in LEC. Like you know what I mean? Like these guys just go straight for damage and they're like, what the fuck?
Well, I mean, it's just like it's just things that are instilled into players. Like if you're a jungler, it's like vision is good, but you have to be realistic about what is the vision actually accomplishing me in this game. Like is buying a pink ward and putting it somewhere where I can't defend it, and then just buying another one and then having to like drop it somewhere randomly in my jungle just so they don't get the gold from the first one. Is that actually a good use of vision, or like can we use what we have going for us to make some educated guesses as to what the enemy team is doing? It's almost like people are prepping for things that are not even likely to happen, just in case the off chance that it does happen occurs, right? Like it's, oh man, what happens if they do decide to dive this lane, or what happens if they do decide to do something? It's like, dude, you should be mainly playing for the most likely scenario that you think is going to happen in the game.
Want to see more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, be a pleb and don't.